conversations for us to have as a community. And you should know that typically on Wednesday night we have our prayer meeting, and we suspended that in order to have this conversation because perhaps churches may be spending too much time in prayer and not enough time in listening to the voices of people near them. John Lude has been a friend of ours, and it is at his behest that we are here today. And I'm glad he made an announcement on Sunday, and I'm also glad that he is here today, and I want him to come to the microphone and have words. New York City Comptroller John Lude.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at Concord Baptist, and I want to thank Pastor Simpson and also Pastor Emma Jordan Simpson for giving us for hosting us today. There's a lot of things going on tonight here in Brooklyn and the city of New York. I truly want to thank all of you for joining us in this forum, this town hall on what I consider one of the most critical issues facing New York and in some ways America itself. I want to thank all of the partners for co-hosting tonight's event, and I just want to give them their due acknowledgement. I want to thank our elected colleagues for being here. I know Councilmember Mealy has a number of meetings tonight. She's already brought her greetings. I want to thank her for her co-sponsorship. We've already heard from the man himself, Councilmember Jumaane Williams. Let's give him another round, please. Councilmember Williams. And in addition to Reverend Simpson, we also have as community partners the National Action Network, the NAACP New York State Conference, the Legal Aid Society, the New York Civil Liberties Union, the John Jay College Center on Race, Crime, and Justice, 500 Men Making a Difference, Communities United for Police Reform, Citizens Committed to Change, Principle Matters, Community Board 3, the 79th Precinct Community Council, the Brownstoners of Bedford-Stuyvesant, and the Black Veterans for Social Justice. Let's give them all a round of applause. And so we are going to have a panel discussion with some great speakers, and I will introduce them in a little while. But I just wanted to say that this is really a great event that we're having here tonight. It happens to be my third town hall that I've had since last week. We had a town hall in Queens, one in the Bronx just on Monday, and today we are here in Brooklyn talking about this issue that has at this point affected people 5 million times over the past decade. 5 million stops and frisks. Now, I often say, when you read about almost 700,000 people being stopped and frisked, almost all of whom have done absolutely nothing wrong, you would think that you're reading about some third world dictatorship, not something that's occurring in America, and certainly not here in New York City. You add to that the fact that almost everyone being stopped and frisked is black or brown. And it's really, really hard to deny that that's racial profiling going on. So we've got to talk about what's happening here in our city. We've got to talk about how to make our communities safer, because we all want greater public safety. We all want the police to protect us. But I think we all understand the deep division that's been created between the community and police because of this stop and frisk tactic that, in my opinion, has gone way out of control in recent years. We've got to figure out how to restore the trust between communities and police, because when there's this level of division and when people are not trusting the police and therefore not necessarily cooperating, I think that makes a situation that is less safe for all of us. So we've got to figure out what strategies can be employed. And I want to, in the previous town halls that we've had, we were able to hear from people a number of young people who have been through the experience, the truly denigrating experience of being stopped and frisked when they've done nothing to deserve it, other than ostensibly having the color of their skin. We've also got ideas from people about what we can do better and what we can help the police do better so that we can all be protected better. There are strategies that have been employed in other major American cities that have seen reductions in their crime without having to resort to widespread use of stop and frisk. And let's take a look at what they're doing. Focused deterrence, for example, is one example where the police concentrate their resources by first working together with community leaders who generally know where the worst elements are. I was at a debate yesterday where there was a certain Ms. Romy who said that she'd been living in her neighborhood for a long time, for decades. And she was able to point out exactly where the drug dens are. And she led the police to them, and the police closed them down right away. That's the kind of trust and working relationship that we need in every neighborhood in the city of New York. Focused deterrence focuses the deterrent efforts on the bad elements 24/7. So that you bring the heat down on them and you utilize your police resources effectively, as opposed to spreading them wide and thin and stopping everybody in the neighborhood, almost all of whom have done absolutely nothing wrong. So let's take a look at alternatives to stop and frisk. Because again, we all want a safer neighborhood. We all want a safer community, and we certainly all want a safer New York City. So let's have this discussion. It's a discussion that is necessary here in New York City, which, to my understanding, is now that this stop and frisk tactic here, as it is so as it is in such widespread use in the city of New York. This is currently the largest manifestation of racial profiling anywhere in the United States of America. And we've got to put a stop to it right here in our own city before it spreads to other cities, because New York is supposed to lead the way, not lead the way backwards. Last year I was very happy to have been able to get in touch with Mayor Ed Lee of San Francisco. He happens to be Asian American. I'm Asian also. I've been Asian my whole life. And I read in the news accounts that he was considering bringing stop and frisk to San Francisco. I immediately wrote a letter to him and suggested that that would not be a great idea, given the issues that we have here in New York City. And I'm sure you heard from other people as well, but the following week, he made an announcement that he was not going to have stop and frisk in San Francisco because he felt that it trampled on people's rights. We've got to make a statement right here in New York City, and we've got to end stop and frisk. We have to end stop and frisk because it is deeply humiliating to the people who are being accosted, who have done absolutely nothing wrong. It is distracting police resources away from strategies that actually could serve to protect people better in our communities. It is raising the level of distrust so much so that you can almost see a correlation between the huge spike in stops and frisks and the huge spike in the number of lawsuits and claims that we have seen in my office against the NYPD in recent years. For all of these reasons, we've got to come up with something better. The people deserve something better. New York City should be leading the way. So with that, let me introduce the panel members here. We have behind me Arthur Peoples, Daniel Ashworth, Jane Fox, and Kavan Gardner of the Legal Aid Society. Thank you very much. We have Alexis Carteron, the Senior Staff Attorney at the New York Civil Liberties Union. Move her around. We have Professor Babe Howell of the John Jay College Center on Race, Crime, and Justice. We have Robert Cornicky, a member of Community Board 3. Wayne Devenish, the president of 500 Men Making a Difference. We have Minister Kirsten John Foy, the president of the Brooklyn chapter of the National Action Network. And we have Pastor Nayron Tillman, an executive board member of Citizens Committed to Change. Okay, and with that, did you have a question, sir?
And right now it's about 7 o'clock, and I dedicate my time on the church on 55th Street for Kamani Grave. As you said, John Moore, you got my vote because you were against stop and frisk, and it affects the black and brown community. 85% of African Americans and Latinos have to stop and frisk for the NYPD. I'm a victim of police brutality too. I got beat up for Birmingham, I suffered a miscarriage, and now I'm walking with a cane. So I'm coming to a meeting. I don't really care what the panel has to say. The people need to talk. Stop and frisk is affecting all of us. And I see on one of your papers that you got an issue with housing. There are over 5 million people in New York City shelter system, and there's no housing program up here for us. 2009, Section 8 got closed. There are people suffering. They want to kick me and my family out of shelter and put us in something called next step like a jail. So if you want to speak on the issues, let's speak on the issues. All these activists, all y'all here, come out to church at 55th Street. Kamani Grave was only 16 years old. The police said he had a gun. The community said he didn't have a gun. The police officer huddled over him and shot 11 times, 3 shots in his neck. And I'm sorry, my son is back here, he's 7 years old, and 10 more years, he'll be 17 years old. And he can be a victim of stop and frisk and police brutality. On Church Street, there is not one community center for the youth. But then they want to complain about the youth on the street. On Church Street, I've been marching with them in 2 weeks now, and there's not one community center. I'm calling out to all the councilmen, especially to Jemani, because on East 38th Street, there's a young lady named Chantel Davis who got slaughtered by the NYPD. And now we have on Church at 55th Street, Kamani Grave. What are we doing? We're talking. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. On February 10th, I was beaten down like a dog. I stayed in the hospital for 7 hours. Medicated me when I didn't tell my story. I lost my child. No one should be burying their children. The police brutality. So you're going to sit here and represent us? Then it starts now. And if you say you're against stop and frisk, then I want you to always don't touch me. If you're against stop and frisk, because you're not affected about it, because you're not brown or black. I don't know if you ever been stop and frisk, but I know I have. And this is a people's meeting, and the people that we heard. I don't have one day, because I'm out here trying to finish some babies. I'm about to take myself, my kids, to Trump at 55th Street and protest and revolutionize out there. Because I don't know what the problems that we have in here. There's no Section 8 for people up here. If I can't pay my rent, I can't get a job. What the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? And we blame the kids for the problem. I've been unemployed for 3 years looking for a job. But I'm determined to do right. I'm not going to sell no drugs. I'm not going to get no drugs. I'm going to stay positive. So if you hear from the people, let the people talk. Because it's affecting us. I don't think it's affecting you as much as it's affecting me. Talk. The people need to talk. Justice for Kamani Grave. Justice for Chantel Davis. Justice for all victims of police brutality. Keep standing.
I want us to honor the anger, the righteous anger and rage that our sister brought into this space tonight.